Alright, so this is going to be my biweekly update for the week of August 8th, 2022, for this Monday, that is the August 8th of 2022. So most of my current activities have actually been centered around MCAT prep. It's been kind of a doozy. I've had to go through several books and whatnot of content review, but obviously I'm going to have to begin shifting priorities to methods chapter work, and I have written some stuff in the methods chapter document, and that's what I'll be focusing on the majority of the time in the coming days, because ideally this rough draft should be finished within, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks, definitely before the beginning of school. And the meeting with Atar was very instructive. She gave me several documents which outlined the protocol for the B cell harvesting from the spleen, the processing of the spleen, the extraction of the spleen, and then the subsequent centrifugation and preparation of the B cells using positive selection, negative selection, and whatnot, which was present in the Mojo sort protocols. I just didn't really have the context in which to actually use those protocols. So now I'm actually able to begin writing down those steps within the methods chapters. So obviously that meeting helped clear out most of my initial confusions, but I still have lingering questions, uh, mostly due to misunderstandings in the notes she supplied. And I would like to have those cleared up as soon as possible, and for that I'm considering an in-person meeting with her on Tuesday, and I'll mention this to her tomorrow in the morning to see if she's amenable to that, to finalize the protocol that I've written in the methods chapter document, which I will supply right here for the moment being. So I began writing in the methods section, the mouse immunization, using the list of reagents she supplied in the answer document to my questions, as well as some additional protocol documents she supplied. I began writing these, but I had some misunderstanding regarding the wordings of some of what she said, namely, in one particular instance, she mentioned the incorporation of two different mediums. There's a cell culture medium and a washing medium, but it wasn't clearly specified which was added to the petri dishes before the addition of the spleens. So this was a misunderstanding that I'll have to clarify, because I need to actually specify which of those mediums was added. Um, yeah, just um, minor things like that. Hopefully she'll go over all of these steps that I've written thus far, and they'll be easy fixes, because the main ideas will be there. So that's what I aim to do. I still have some steps to finalize, namely the positive and negative selection steps, but um, most of the meat of the mouse immunization matter is there. So my immediate plan is to make a figure using the fully outlined protocol that I'm writing for the mouse immunization, and I'll do that using BioRender because they have a great selection of images. Um, I have somewhat of a good idea of what the figure is going to look like. It's probably going to be refined many times, but I think BioRender is going to facilitate that pretty well. And once this is done, the mouse immunization protocol, um, I'll most likely transition to learning other protocols that this methods chapter needs, like yeast surface display, the 10x genomics workflow, and whatnot, just so those sections can be written. Because for now, we have the beginning of the 10x genomics workflow, and we have this mouse immunization protocol, but then the rest is just an outline. So that's what we aim to put in there. And one particular question that I've has kind of been lingering in my mind ever since I began writing the steps for the mouse immunization. You mentioned that we shouldn't ever mention specifically 9-NHA-CGD2 and Q beta within this work. So should we make it a protocol that is more generally applicable to mouse immunization, or is it still specifically applicable to 9-NHA-CGD2 and Q beta, but we just don't mention it? Because that it seems sort of awkward to write it in that manner, where this is specifically tailored for 9-NHA-CGD2 and Q beta, and we never actually mention them within this methods chapter. If it's a more general methods chapter, like how to, obtain libraries, e-surface display antibody libraries from mouse immunization, then yeah, I can be more general. And I really came across this question when mentioning. So after I mentioned how the mice were immunized, I could have gone into extensive details about how to perform the antibody titers using ELISA, when to do the blood draws, which was once every 2 weeks, when to administer the boosters and whatnot, what dilutions to use. But Atar told me that for this specific circumstance, she simply relied on data from the recent Huang Lab paper, the enzymatic synthesis of GD2 paper, which demonstrated that the peak antibody titer emerged 35 days after the injection. So in this protocol, I simply mentioned that based on that previous data, and I'm going to obviously cite it there, that's when the mice are sacrificed. So I'm not mentioning anything about the ELISA and the measurement of the antibody titer because I'm using the previous data. And obviously this data is specific for 9-NHA-CGD2 and Q beta. If a different antigen were used and we were looking to display other antibody libraries not specific to 9-NHA-CGD2, obviously this 35 days could change. So that's why I'm asking this. Is this supposed to be more generally applicable or specific for 9-NHA-CGD2 and Q beta? So yeah, I guess that's the main schematically based question that I have. But yeah, really, other than that, it's just going to be questions for Atar regarding specifics. If I missed anything in the notes I took, anything more than I need, and the mouse immunization protocol should be up. But yeah, exciting stuff.